Tetto, and I'm a board member at Asia Society Korea Center, which has been a lot of fun and quite an honor to be a part of. I thought one thing that was very interesting is that, when you're in New York working on Wall Street, there's just culture all around you. First of all, you're surrounded by museums everywhere, so I was always interested in kind of the cultural aspects of the city. And then it turned out that the company where I was working, Morgan Stanley, they told us, oh, we're a corporate member of this place called Asia Society. And so they would always give us tickets and tell us about these lectures at this Asia Society. So I could always go because we were corporate members. Especially being in finance, Asia was always in the news. So I had this interest in Asia and then started going to the center in New York. I had been working on Wall Street for several years, and then a Korean company, recruited me over to come to Korea. It was Samsung Electronics, and it turned out that they were looking to start this new M&A team to do mergers and acquisitions at Samsung, and that's exactly what I was doing in New York at Morgan Stanley. So they kind of heard of me and they invited me over, and it was this big adventure. I really loved it from the beginning. Coming to Seoul, such a dynamic city, such a different feel from New York. And people were so welcoming, and the food and culture, everything about it really resonated with me. Not too long after I came to Korea, one or two of my early friends, one of them happened to be an artist, and he started to tell me that, hey, I'm part of this Asia Society in Korea. We have a Korea chapter. Why don't you come and see what it's all about? It was a real important way for me to plug into the local culture and to make friends in Korea and to make sense of everything I was experiencing on a cultural level, certainly. My involvement in Korea Center eventually led to me supporting the center and then also to be part of the board and trying to share with other people this amazing value I see in Asia Society. The power of Asia Society, that it's kind of like a home that is there in a lot of these different cities around the world. I know now that if I go to Hong Kong, if I visit Hong Kong, where would I visit? I would start by visiting the Asia Society Center in Hong Kong, or if I go to LA, I know there's kind of a home for me in all these places. But if I look beyond just the kind of welcoming sort of gatherings that we had that were so meaningful to me, if I think of the work that Asia Society does and sort of the different themes along which Asia Society works, those also actually really resonated with me. In a strange way, it just kind of pulled together these parts of my life that I already considered to be important, that I was already very interested in. I'm someone coming from the US and now living in Asia, so these two geographies, in particular for me, New York and Seoul, these sort of two poles in my life, are just very nicely joined by Asia Society. And there's this kind of cross-pollinations happening and these programs happening between the centers. And so even, for instance, we'll take one of our Korean artists and then feature their work in the New York Center, the Hong Kong Center. Now I would say a lot of my activities are kind of evenly split between public social issues and public policy type of things, and then art and culture. And then it's just these three themes happen to be really what Asia Society concentrates in. There's never been a group I've seen that, like Asia Society, takes all these elements which are so important to me and combines them into one group. And I just see these as pillars of Asia Society that are very compelling to me. Particularly, the sort of geopolitical track, if you will, international relations track, and then I would say the art and culture track. These two pillars are I think, quite impressive the way Asia Society brings these together. For me, having lived in Korea now for about 11 years and being, I would say, involved in Asia Society Korea Center for, 10 years already, and on the board. And now Korea Center is coming on its 15th anniversary. I think it's a very interesting time to be here, specifically at the Korea Center. Business and economic standpoint, arguably everyone knows that Korea has become a powerhouse globally. I think the past, certainly 3-4 years, we in Korea have all been just amazed to see the sort of the soft power the cultural influence that Korea has on the world. And I think everyone kind of feels that this is the time for Korea to shine. That people are now starting to see, wow, Korean food is amazing. You know, K-pop groups are leading Billboard charts, right? And Korean movies are now receiving Academy Awards and getting Best Picture, right? There's this snowball effect where I think maybe when I first came to Korea, people used to worry maybe it's just K-pop, maybe people just think K-pop and K-drama, but now no one can say that anymore. Everyone's seeing that this, you know, geographically smaller country is taking the lead in so many areas. Even biotech now, you know, during the pandemic, I think Korean biotech companies also took an amazing lead. And so kind of all eyes are on Korea. Now I would say the Korea Center can play that role within Asia society to bring what I would say is best in class and best in world contents to our other centers now. Earlier on in my work with Asia Society and with Ivan at the center here, you know, for instance, we gave an award locally to one of our top actors here, Lee Byung-hun Lee. And that was kind of a cool, kind of early thing that we were able to do. But now everyone knows who Lee Byung-hun is. In Hollywood, he's, you know, appearing in lots of roles. But not only him, now it's a lot of other actors and whole movies. And I think there's so much, even now in the fashion world, in technology, Korean startups that we can share with our other centers. So that's what I'm hoping going forward. You know, we've been very busy and very active until now, but I hope all of this means that we're actually much more busy as a Korea center going forward, that, you know, we can be taking these contents to our other centers and, you know, really be a gateway. We might be the first stop for a lot of people, and we want to be good ambassadors.